What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Griever here, bringing you an anime full-on discussion video for Devil is a Part-Timer. Now, this series has a flaw. It has one major flaw that I cannot forgive. And that flaw is, it has no Season 2. That's the flaw with this series. I find very little other flaws outside of this because you have your classic anime trope characters, you have your good animation, your character designs, your anime comedy gold. This series is great. I had a great time. I decided I was working on the basement all Friday and, Friday night. Drank a little too much beer. Decided when I got up I didn't really feel like doing anything. So I decided I'm going to go out there, I'm going to put something on Netflix. I'm not going to rewatch something, I'll watch something I haven't seen before. Devil is a Part-Timer come up. Heard about it many times before. The two times whenever you hear Devil on a podcast or anime this or Discord that, Reddit talks, all that fun jazz. What do you hear about? You hear about Devilman Crybaby and Devil is a Part-Timer. They stick out in your mind, those titles. So I finally decided to watch it. It looked like a good animation style. I thought I could have some fun. I didn't realize how comedy level it was going to be. I kind of thought that it would take a more serious approach every episode. But this is much more of a comedy series with some serious elements to throw in there just to break up the comedy a little bit. Just to have a overall narrative like the first opening, the prologue, the first episode. That is dark. I would actually like to follow this concept in a more serious tone. I would have loved to follow that. Like that prologue sets us up for this could be very serious, very dark, very heavy and impactful fantasy. And instead we switch to a comedy element very early on, but that comedy element is great. It's part of what makes the series great. They break up the series. I just felt the need to make a video about this. I feel like this should be talked about because that's my biggest problem. That's why we should just have this quick little discussion video about this series because, as I said, I found it on Netflix, decided to binge watch it. I watched it with Japanese subs because there was no English dub on Netflix. So I watched in Japanese, which is fine. Had to watch it subbed, of course, as a result. But either way, I thought the series was good. And one of my biggest flaws when I make video content is I'll go play a game or I'll watch a TV show or an anime or something, or I'll start reading a manga, and I don't think I should make a video about that. It's fresh in my mind. I just finished binge watching the whole series. It doesn't take long. It's only like 13 episodes. So why not? And yes, I know it's an older anime, but I never watched it. I never saw it. Here's your video response. I couldn't have made a video about it last year, the year before, or the year before that because I never saw the series. Regardless how old the series is, which I think it's 2012, 2013. Either way, I finally sat down and watched it, and I think it's great. I really do. I'm just disappointed there is no Season 2 because any flaw with plot or character or whatever that I kind of was picking up on, I realize is only at fault because there's only 13 episodes. There's only 13, 14 episodes. There's only that many, right? There's not enough time to have that spark of comedy, have that lighthearted fun, easy watching, easy viewing, easy binging without taking everything so seriously. Sometimes you need that happy. That's a lot of the time why in the background I will play either reruns of some 4Kids stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever, what have you, Pokemon, something like that when I'm distracted or working, or I'll put on something I've either already seen or you put on that romance comedy. You put on those rom-coms, not necessarily movies because they tend to go a little more serious a lot of the time too, but more like the animes, the shoujos, those type of ones, right? You put those on there because there's so many episodes of the same trope, the You have the beach episode. You have the vacation episode. You have the school days episode. You have the school trip episode. Those type of things, right? You always have those once you've amassed the set of characters. They're always lighthearted. They're always full of fluff, and they're always just fun. And that's sometimes what you need. You want to just sit down. You don't want to have to pay a lot of attention. You just want to sit down, relax, and enjoy some anime. And I feel like Devil is a Part-Timer really gives you that. It's got great animation. The characters are fun. Very fun, in fact. I can't think of a single character I dislike because they're so over the top with their very classic anime tropes of what type of characters they're supposed to be that it's actually genuine. They're not trying to hide it. They're that way, face front, the whole time, and you can enjoy it. You can enjoy it for what they are. There is an overarching plot, but as I said, as a result of this being so short, nothing's really resolved. We don't really know the details. I have some questions. I'm sure it's answered in the manga or the light novels because the series must continue far past this little 13 episode thing for people to talk about it. For me to have heard of it multiple times, and finally when I was scrolling through and saw, yeah, I know that title. I should finally watch that. So I'm assuming there's a greater story at work here, but I don't get a grand scope of that by watching the anime. Either way, I think this series was just what you need to break up the mold a little bit. It's got the good animation and soundtrack in its serious moments. It's done very well. You can have your seriousness. But it's broken up every 3 episodes, I feel. I feel like you have these episodes that are just comedy. You know, one character's in the bathroom the whole time. One character's being mischievous, but only to just get some real food in his stomach. Another character is trying to work his best at his job to get that promotion. And you have the comedy that ensues with that sort of attitude. However, there is, after you get done with that, for a couple of episodes, 2 or 3, then all of a sudden, we hit a serious episode. We have a battle. We have lives on the line. And that's when, boom, we have the devil back in his original form. We have the main character, the devil king himself, Satan, in his true manly form. Now, this video was not going to go as a review necessarily, more as a discussion. Where I'm not going to go into the plot piece by piece or the different characters or any of that. I just thought, sit down, have a little discussion about this because I feel like the serious tones are few and far in between, but they hit more impactful because they're few and far in between. This is a comedy series first with a serious overtone second. And it's there at the opening crawl, the beginning of the series is I could have taken this as a dark fantasy series to follow the whole time, the whole way. We could have kept with that. But instead, characters jump through the gate, sort of Gaia, moon thing sort of idea, like Vision of Escaflowne, and they go to Earth. The hero follows them, all that jazz, and hilarity ensues as a result. They're supposed to be at war. She's the hero, Emmy's the hero, and she's been now trapped in this, and there's no magic. Nobody's got any magic, and that's the big thing. They have lost their full, true demon and hero forms and such. Nobody's got very little magic, and as a result, hilarity ensues because they can't blow shit up anymore, right? So they were at war. That's my big question here, honestly, because in the middle of this series, after it's been lighthearted and fun for the most part, we understand their relationship, of course, the hero and the devil. However, it's about midway through where we get this episode and they're alone in his apartment. And that's the thing. They have had to adjust. They have had to, with a little bit of hypnosis and a little bit of small little magic tricks, they've managed to get themselves a job, find an apartment, and basically just start living in the human world as low-income citizens. That's pretty much what they have done. And they seem to not really be progressing anywhere towards world domination and such. And this is what leads the hero, Emmy leads the hero to start to not be all on kill the devil team, so to speak. But she still reserves that right. It's part of her character. And that's when this middle episode happens. And we get a concept which, as I said, I believe the light novels and manga must explain, where she goes on to say, because we've seen it, we saw it in the opening prologue, we see it with the flashbacks and such, that he was still the devil. He was the devil. He is Satan. He led 4 demon generals to conquer the realm that they are from, Ente Aila, or what, I don't really know how to pronounce it. It was all Japanese, but begins with an E. And he conquered. He took over everything. He burned and pillaged and all that stuff and murdered. That's what he did with his armies. And she fought back against them, leading the Church of Knights and all this stuff, right? So to see him acting this way, it seemed very strange, because this middle episode, she breaks down and starts, because she has been treating him more and more as a friendly person rather than her sworn enemy, and she just can't take it anymore. That he's being nice to humans, he's being nice to her, he's being benevolent and chivalrous and kind and all these things. This isn't her sworn enemy anymore. She's trying to figure this out, so she breaks down in tears and screams at him and tells him, "You have taken everything that I love from me. You burned our lands. You pillaged our farms. You've killed my father. You killed all the people I love. You've murdered countless. I can't forgive you for this." And unfortunately, this conversation is interrupted, because I feel like here is where we would get more information on how this came to be, because she's not wrong. He says, "I'm sorry." He takes that all in, and he says, "I'm sorry," but that's where the conversation ends. It gets interrupted. So we don't know if he had an explanation for this. Because the character that we know, the devil that we know, who is a part-timer, who is kind, who is protecting humans, I can't believe that all of a sudden he comes to a human world, like he comes to our world, he comes to Tokyo, Japan, and all of a sudden loses all will to want to destroy humans. He was conquering them not 5 seconds ago. They went through this portal gate and ended up here, and all of a sudden he has no intention of doing any of that. He keeps claiming that he's going to dominate and take over this entire place, but he doesn't seem to act on it. He never seems to harm a single person. There's not that trope of a character that would have been easy, and this is why I think Devil is a Part-Timer does this better, is because it would be very easy for him to be a high-on-your-horse character, and he goes, "Do you know who I am, young mortal? I am the devil. I will smite you with the..." "Okay, that's great, hon. Now you get along now." It's like, "But I am the devil. I will not stand for this," And they could have went with that comedy route. Still would have been comedy, but they could have gone with the route that he believes that at any time he will smite these mortals. We get none of that from him. There's never an inkling of that type of tropey character in the devil. The devil is a part-timer, and it's black and white. That's what he is. And he doesn't seem to be perturbed by this. So when she yells at him that he's done all these things and he says, "I'm sorry," and we saw the opening crawl, it's not like any of this isn't true. It's not like he isn't the devil. We see his adult form, or his true devil form. We see him go all evil, malicious. We've met multiple characters that recognize him as the devil. His own generals are there. It's true. It did happen. He waged war and he burned everything to the ground. So what changed? Or what don't we know? I can't see it. I think that I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to believe that we didn't get enough information, because once again, big flaw, season was too short. But I'm going to go off on a limb and believe that the devil isn't what we thought. Sort of the Lucifer character, like in the TV show Lucifer and stuff like that. Great series, go check it out. Something along those lines. Maybe the demons were enslaved for the last 5 centuries by the church, and he had had enough, and he's like, nope, we can't have this, they're enslaving our people, we're finally done. They finally snapped, and they said, nope, we're just going to take over everything, humans can't be reasoned with. And with a heavy heart, he said, clean slate, let's do it all. Let's just get rid of them all, and we'll try again. Something similar to that, perhaps. That could have happened. It's really hard to say, because it seems that there's no way that this devil is the devil king who led all the armies and slaughtered everyone. There's more to the story. They weren't just evil for the sake of evil. Clearly, it's always the church. It's always the church is evil, and we see it here. It's plain as day that the church, of course, believes, all demons are evil and there's no redemption, there's no nothing. Their attitude towards that probably is what led to him having to do this, but we don't get any of that information once again. So that episode was key because it's where we get a little bit of development, because we never get a serious moment like that again. We do get, of course, fights, and we get some serious moments and things like that after this point, but after this point we don't get another breakdown scene, another serious, what I would consider a character development scene out of the two main characters, being, of course, the hero and the devil. So either way, I felt like it was really impactful, and it's amazing that you can watch a comedy series full of fluff and full of, let's go check out a haunted house episode, let's go work at a McDonald's, not so much called McDonald's, but let's go work at McDonald's at a beach house area or the swim park, just so we can get all the female characters in swimsuits. The classic comedy of anime goodness is here, and somehow they can just then, bam, here's a very serious episode, a very serious scene, and it doesn't feel out of place. It's done very, very well. The soundtrack was amazing. I liked the opening and ending themes. I definitely enjoyed the soundtrack overall when he got serious. That was really nice. It just left me wanting more. I guess that's all I can really say about that. It just left me wanting more. But I think I've said everything. Once again, this wasn't really a formal review of the series. I decided to try a different approach here, do more of a discussion, just things that popped in my head. I just finished watching it, had a shower, and then came here to just hit record and say, you know what, I got some things to say about this series. So I know it's an older anime. I know this video wasn't intended to get a bunch of views. It's not like it's the latest hot item, but I feel like should be talked about. Now you all know that I have seen Devil as a Part-Timer. I think it's a great series. Wish there was a second season. Probably will pick up the manga at some point as a result, hoping that it's as good in the manga formats, because I know, of course, it started as a light novel. I'm not a big light novel guy, so I rely on things like anime and manga adaptations to tell me that story. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed this informal discussion video about Devil is a Part-Timer. I think it's great. What do you guys think in the comment section down below? Like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to join my Discord. The link is in the description box down below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't really have anything else to say on the subject. So, thanks guys so much for watching. This has been Griever, signing